rock.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they could literally just turn it to nothing, put it where they want it, and then turn it back solid.
Exactly. Same thing they did when they were building the pyramids as well. They would they had now like a laser cutter. It did it was actually a ribbon of sound. But anyway, so they cut a rock out and they put this thing on top of the rock that would make it weigh a lot less. And now they've got these genetically modified, we'll call them humans, but they're really strong and they can move the rocks by themselves that way. And then what they would do is when they would set it in place, they would take that thing off and they put another thing on top of the rock that would make it soft, and so that it automatically fit in perfectly. And then
that's what was changing the molecular structure. That's what I was talking about.
Right, just a minute, somebody's trying to get me up. Who is it? Okay, so yeah, so we do know that there was some technology involved in the making of all the tunnels and caves at the Grand Canyon. We did not get to find out exactly how the canyon itself was formed, although we do know that 500,000 years ago, the mosquitoes were huge, the dragonflies were huge,
everything was huge.
Were huge, right?
Everything, we were huge.
Well, we didn't run into any of us yet, but we do know that we did test the air, and it had a really high oxygen content. The sun was much brighter and different color. It was actually the white again, but much brighter. Didn't have the filters over it that are over it now, but there's some filters kind of between Earth and the sun. We found that out as well.
Before the moon.
No, I mean like today, right now, there's filters between us and the sun.
No, I mean, we were talking about the sun.
Oh, 500,000 years ago, you would say, yeah, that is probably before the moon, right? The moon probably showed up here, well, it was right at the fall of Atlantis, right? And so, what was that? 15,000 years? Yeah, that's what I would say too. The thing I didn't realize was I thought that Lemuria and Atlantis were kind of at the same time, and I had thought, yeah, that like Lemuria, if anything, came a little after. No way, man. It was like 10 million years back.
No, it wasn't that far. It was like Lemuria, like we're the cycle that we're going through now with the shifting and everything changing. Lemuria was one cycle. But the difference
that'd be 25,000 years then.
So when Lemuria cycled out and we come into Atlantis, there was a little bit of Lemurian people left.
Overlap.
Just like whenever Atlantis crumbled, there was a few Atlanteans left, that bring in and come in and start the new culture. But Lemurians were different physically and, than Atlantean people.
Yeah, what we found out is that everybody in Lemuria was from the Pleiades. It was a whole group that came in all together. Just so if you didn't already know that.
Well, most of the people that come in have been from Lyra, Pleiades, Sirius.
Yeah, I mean, I run into Arcturians and Andromedans and all this stuff. However, these guys that we're going to explore today with the kind of square heads and roundish bodies, yeah, exactly. So this is one of the things we're talking about in Patrick's video. It's why we're going to Easter Island today, because the beings that made the temples in the Grand Canyon, very different looking, and they don't look like, okay, so first of all, they aren't coming here today. I can almost guarantee that. Because like we know what the tall whites look like, and the Nordics look like, and the Greys look like, and the Lyrans look like, right? But these guys, you don't hear anything about them at all. So I feel like they haven't been to the planet in a really, really long time. We think that they're some type of a creator being that not only help to anchor the energies in that allow Gaia to produce life, but also anchored the soul of Gaia to the planet as well with some of their technology, right? So that her soul didn't just like drift out of the planet and fly away or something, right? There's this really cool crystal we came across in the Grand Canyon, by the way, in the temple complex there, that Patrick couldn't get near it because he would start freezing. It was super, made him feel super cold. But his sense of it was that it was part of the things that was anchoring Gaia to the planet. I would guess that it was probably one of the chakras, right? Right, one of the 8 chakras is probably what it was. I just it didn't dawn on me until just now, and I'm talking to you, of course, right?
Your guides are funny too.
What's that?
I said your guides are funny too.
I don't really hear any guides myself that I notice.
Well, you don't hear them, but like that random video that pops up on your suggested YouTube feed, or that weird meme that just happens to show up on your
Yeah,
Facebook.
that's my guides. You're right about that.
That's your guides. You know, mine do that. They won't just tell me shit directly, even though I can hear.
Yeah.
I can hear Cotty when she talks to me. But she's funny. Yeah. You probably have a cat person as a guide too.
Maybe I do. Maybe I do. I don't have any particular affinity for cats. Just so you know, like I've never been a.
Well, you were the lion people. So, are you drawn to tigers, lions, panthers?
I mean, a little bit, but I mean, honestly, if somebody had ever asked me what I wanted to be reincarnated as way back in the day, I would have like, "What do you want to be next, Kel?" I'd be like, "Oh, like an eagle or a falcon or something like that," because I don't know, I just like the way they just like float on the wind. I thought that was cool, and they're super good eyesight, and they go 200 miles an hour when they come, right? So I just always liked those. But also, I believe that the lion people are not necessarily from Lyra, because
a lot of Lyra was kind of a catch-all.
Right, because this is one of the older.
Like Switzerland, that's where everybody just kind of, because there was a lot of destruction. The planet that they were from was destroyed by the Anunnaki.
Yes.
And
right.
So they, kind of all ended up in Lyra and Sirius. Sirius?
Yes. That's what I believe. The lion people, like the one session that I've had with actual like lion people was around Sirius, and they were in a war, and they were being invaded by Orion. And so I said, well, did they piss off the Orions, or the Orions trying to steal something from them or what? And they're like, no, they're just like to conquer people. Like they were there, and so they had to get fucked with.
Right.
And the lion people lost that war, by the way, which this girl was one of them. But so I almost wonder if that's what you're saying as far as me as one of those people from Sirius, which also, now you mention it, I have been told that I originate from Sirius. So that would really make a lot of sense, because that would have been when I was a lion person. Okay, yeah.
And you may not have been incarnated for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
As that, as that particular being. But I know they had a hand, in seeding Gaia as well. A lot of our ancestry is from their DNA, because they're humanoid, like we are. So people don't, they fail to understand that it's not just one set, one race that we come from. Some of us are Anunnakis, some of us come from the cat people, some come from the lion people, some come from the Draco reptilians. It's just who we are. It doesn't mean that we're bad people or
good people or anything.
We can't help our ancestry.
Well, yeah, and not to mention too, I feel like we can't lump everybody in to a group. You can't just make blanket assumptions. There's Dracos that are good, there's Dracos that are bad, and there's Dracos that are in the middle.
Right. We've all been everything. People fail to understand that. We've all been everywhere. We've all killed, we've all been killed, we've raped and been raped. It's a cycle that we've all had to go through, whether on this plane or another.
The last session I did, and this girl is such a sweetheart, we just love her so much, but I promised her I wouldn't post it until like the end of this month type of thing, just for a reason. But anyways, she was on this planet. The only reason she incarnated, again, she'd come 75,000 years ago, so not that long ago, from Dakota, whatever, and where Tolek is from. Anyways, so she comes, she hears the call of Gaia, she wants to come and help out. She, kind of thinks she's a powerful being and gets stuck, wrapped up in the wheel of karma, right? And so during the Babylonian times, She was a really good seer. A lot of people respected her, a little bit of a leader type, right? And totally just like, slipped and kind of just abused her powers, used her position. And so that was like why, if she wouldn't have done that, she wouldn't even been incarnated this time on the planet. And it's also why this particular life was a super hard one for her. Right? She had a lot of troubles. She's like super short, dealing with abuse in the church and family, like all these things, right? And now she's like much older, and the higher self is saying, well, good news, you're almost done with this life, but you paid off all your karma. You're never going to have to come back. We're going to go ahead and give you your powers back for the rest of this ride. And so, there's some good news, right? But she's definitely suffered along the way. And people, we always ask this, right? Why would I pick such a life, right? Well, so there's a reason. I mean, she could have come back 3 more times or one really concentrated one, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and of course we know that you've had the similar situations within your family as well, right?
Yes, my daughter is dealing with that right now.
Yep. But it's so neat to be able to understand that perspective, right?
She's a witch, and she misused her powers.
Yeah. So, like we'll just have to make sure that me and you just use our powers for good right now.
I've done it too. I've done it as well.
Right. Well, and it totally goes to what you're saying. We've all been the abuser and the abused. We've all been the rich and the poor. Any way you want to look at it, anything you want to make a judgment of, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah. If it doesn't matter what the perspective is, if you try to find there's something positive in everything, like, it's horrible that this child was raped, but that means that this child will now grow up with a different perspective, and they'll be able to reach out to other people and could possibly save lives, just because this one thing happened, and there has to be somebody there to do it, to bring about the change. So, I mean, that's why I keep saying there is no good, there is no evil. It's all about perspective.
Here we go. Here's a quote I just happen to have on this piece of paper on my notepad from a few days ago, a video I was watching. Resistance drives evolution. I mean, and so it's so true, right? So true. Until you kind of get pissed off and you're butting your head against this wall and you're like, screw this, I'm getting through this wall, and you go, and that's what makes you your next phase, right? Your next step is that plowing through some resistance. That's the actual nature of growth, right? And the real reason we're here.
Right.
I always say if we'd achieved like a total enlightenment, and if we knew everything that we wish we knew, well, we wouldn't be here anymore, right? Like, what would be the point?
That's the trap.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so now I just want to let you know, moving forward, that we want to use you more. I need to kind of fix a couple things with you, kind of just address some things. So we need to try to get to a place where we're not so up and down, right? We want to get that vibration real high and try to keep it up there. There will be a benefit for you if you can do that. So don't think about maybe like what you're giving up, but think about what you're getting, and then and not to kind of just fall into stupid discussions that I had this session. It was this guy named Fred. I haven't posted this one yet because I'm having trouble editing it. There's just a problem with it. But the session, the whole point of the session was called Feel the Field. Have you heard me talk about this yet? This is something I talk about a whole lot. It's just like my Earth Keepers Alliance and blocking the light. This is something I talk about a lot. So the way Feel the Field works is these blue beings came down. It's the same ones that we saw, like the one of at Egypt, and this guy was actually one of them. And his first life was at Egypt, building the temples, or consulting, I guess you would say. And he's only lived here 5 times. So not a lot, just like this other girl that was only here for 75,000 years. Um, and he's done. After this life, he's out. He doesn't have to do anything else. And in fact, as soon as the new Earth happens, he's fast tracked. He'll be one of the first ones there, as long as he can keep his head out of his ass, which is why his higher self sent him for the session. Right? It was like it could have been a 5-minute session. The higher self was like, "Dude, keep it together, and you're going to be the first one out, and you're never coming back." Right? And, okay, session's over. Right? And then now we're just trying to kill time and make it seem like it was worth, because he had to drive for 4 hours. But anyways, so the thing we learned from his guides or higher self, whatever it was, is this thing. It's called field to field. So the blue beings, when they came down a few at a time, and then a bunch more came later. Some of them are kind of blue light energy beings. Some of them are more solid, but they're still the blue beings. And what they do is they feel the field. So the way it works is, if you are vibrating at a high vibration, I don't know the way to describe it, then you make a connection with other beings that are vibrating at that vibration, maybe through the heart or whatever it might be. There's a field there, and you can feel it when you're in it. Yes. That unity, and it has a multiplying effect. And this is why it only takes 10% of the people, or 144,000, whatever the number you think it might be. It's not, we need 75% of the people to make the ascension happen, right?
Yeah, like 2%.
What?
So we need like 2%.
Exactly. And it's because of feel the field. Because when you're in the field, you get that magnifying, multiplying effect. So if we've got an angry mob over here, and there's like 20 people, they don't connect. They don't really magnify each other in a very short, temporary way, if at all. Okay. So now, let's say you're part of the field, and you're in the field, and you see these kind of sewered people, right? And you think, oh, I'm a healer, I'm an advanced being, I have a responsibility to come and try and talk them out of it or heal them, right? And what the blue beings are saying is, nope, that's not what you do. What you do is turn your back on it. Okay. And when I first heard this, I was like, what? Right? But here's the way it works. As long as you are in the field, it's going to radiate outwards. It's going to connect to other people that are in it. It's going to keep multiplying. And eventually, a couple of these people, when the time is right, they're going to see it and they're going to feel it. They're going to come in, they're going to come out, and they're going to stay, right? But if you come over here and you try to fix all these people, you're going to come out.
They're going to drain your energy.
Exactly. They're going to lower your vibration. They're going to take you out of the field. And everything that you were doing that was actually positive isn't a thing anymore. And so, it's just kind of this onesie twosie fixes when we can be doing the whole planet at once, right?
Like energy attracts like energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you just need to wait. You turn your back on that negative energy because you don't want to be like it, until some of those want to come around and be attracted. And we're going to, of course, welcome in with open arms at that time, and give them any pampering or love that they need. But we're not going to try and force it on them when they're not ready. There's no point in that, right? And you get lowered from that activity. And so you got to feel the field, you got to stay in the field. And, if something is trying to take you out of the field, you turn your back on it until it's ready, right?
You just described the life of an empath.
What's that?
I said, you just described the life of an empath.
Exactly. You cannot, because if you're allowing people to bring you down all the time, then what good are you to the world, right?
Exactly.
You're not. Yeah, so you have to be able to turn it on and turn it off, to use it when you want to. This other girl, the one that we just had the session with, she was, she'd be walking down the street and feel people on one side of the street or the other side of the street that are crying out for help or need help, and now she's learned that she can kind of ask the higher self and just wish a little healing their way. But she's not going to stop and talk to them and say, hey, is it all right if I do magic on you or anything? Right? No, she's just going to, okay, I'm going to send a little love and light their way, so that it serves the highest good, is in alignment with what their soul contract needs at this time. And that's it. I'm not going to try and get involved in their dramas or sort them out. Another example is in one of mine and Patrick's videos, and I'm not sure if I've released this one yet. I'm way behind, sorry. But and I have so many, I can't remember what I've released and what I haven't. But and Patrick's talking about the difference between quantum travel and quantum healing, right? And the quantum healing to him is draining. It only helps one person at a time, and you have to hear their stories of woe, like how they came to be the way they are, and it's just not uplifting to him. He still likes to heal people, but if you ever give him a choice of like, hey, do you want to do quantum travel or quantum healing today? He's going to be like, want to be more fun.
He's not a natural healer, though.
Right.
So
right.
That has a lot to do with that. Now, see, I could do quantum healing and it wouldn't drain my energy because I'm a healer just by nature, and then I'm an empath on top of it. So that's what my energy is for. So it doesn't deplete my energy as fast as it would his. Now, on the other hand, he's probably a traveler. He probably does astral travel and things like that. That's probably just who he is by nature. That's what his energy is for. So that's easier for him.
Yesterday, the plan was to go straight to the Grand Canyon and explore mysteries of the Grand Canyon for 2 hours, okay? And it took us an hour to get there because Patrick kept getting distracted by shit and he would just be there, right? So, yeah, right. And one of the classic examples of it is at one point he's like, well, I'm drifting up right now. And I'm like, well, get your dang vehicle and go where we need to go. And he's like, well, I'm changing directions right now. And he's like, dude, what are you doing, right? And he's like, oh, shit, I'm in front of this super bright light, man, right? And it turned out to be Source. And Source just kicks him out. Oh, where you're supposed to go, right? And so later on, I'm talking to Patrick's higher self, which I could pretty much just pull out at will with him, right? Like me and Patrick's higher self are almost better friends than me and Patrick are these days. But anyways, so I'm talking to his higher self, and I say, why was this where Patrick is sitting in front of Source, and then he's gone before you know it? And like, was he not supposed to be there? Was he supposed to be there? Like, what was going on with that? And his higher self says, well, traveling comes so easy to him. And he doesn't have complete control over it yet, right? So he doesn't really like, so it was just like a moth that saw a flame, and he was just there, and then he got kicked out. Right? But it wasn't like it wasn't like he was supposed to be there or not supposed to be there. It's just that he was just like, ooh, pretty light, and he was there, and he didn't even mean to be. And so, yeah, it's funny, you're right on the money with what you're saying there, for sure.
See, so, and I'm not a traveler, so I'm feeling like I'll be easier for you to guide where you want to go and not be as distracted. What's going to distract me is if I do come in contact with entities there, the difference between me and Patrick is I'm an empath. So I feel like the connection would be stronger. Like, they will see me.
Visual.
No matter where we go, these higher dimensional beings will see me.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We don't care about that at all. And actually, we know that with you, they'll kind of hop in and hop out at will too. I mean, really.
But I have a really good guide, so.
Yeah, you'll be taken care of, and we're gonna take steps to offer protections to you as well. We're not gonna send you out in the world and nothing to do. But one of the things that makes you a great test subject for today is the fact that you're not a natural born traveler. And so this to me is the next step in the line of proving that I can do it with anyone, right? Which is the end goal, is I would like to be able to have my quantum travel agency and send, disabled people to places they wouldn't be able to visit, right? If I need to get to a place where I know it can work on everyone, right? So you're this intermediate step. It's not your natural talent, but you're also good, easy to hypnotize and work with. So right, it's a
Yeah,
nice
I'm
middle
not a
ground.
big visualizer either. So,
Yeah,
when I see stuff, I'm like really looking at it because I have a really hard time visualizing, just
yeah,
visualizing.
yeah. I mean, we
That's
have to
why
ask for clarity a little
that's
bit.
why because it would just literally they just pop up scenes and bubbles, and I could just like grab it and just touch it and be in that scene, and it was just the coolest shit. I don't even know how else to explain it, but it was just like I was just in this big area of nothing, and there's just like bubbles, like little TV bubbles, and you see scenes, and I can just touch it and be there.
One of my favorite things about this modality is that I'm expecting it's going to work the same way with you. It's not meant as a healing modality by any stretch. In fact, it's meant to not be a healing modality. In fact, for specific reasons that are my own. But the thing is that I always feel like whatever is wrong with Patrick, whatever's going on in his life that might be annoying him, or if you got a speeding ticket, or mom's having trouble, or the neighbors are being too loud, whatever it might be that was wrong in his life, I could send him on a quantum trip, and he's gonna come back and he'd be like, "Man, that was so fun!" Right? Like he's gonna be in a really good mood, And so that's a form of healing in its own way, but it's just more of this kind of like you were saying, like it's so cool, right? It's just really neat.
Anytime we're out of this vessel, I feel like it's a uplifting experience.
Yeah, because
Anytime you're free, because this is like a prison.
right.
We're trapped. It's like we're trapped.
And you get that childlike joy of discovery, when the world was, everything was new. Every time you opened the door to go outside, and like, whoa, what is that thing? Oh, it's a butterfly, right? You've never seen one before, right? And so everything's so new and fresh and exciting, and I feel like this quantum travel really brings out the child in people. That it brings them back to that place when everything was new and fresh.
Well, that's our natural energy.
Yeah.
The childlike energy, that's our natural energy. We're all creator beings. I mean, that's who we
that's why it feels so good, probably.
The core of our nature is, to create and build and bring life. That's just what we've all been and done and seen everything, because we are one. We're just one. Everybody has experienced everything, whether they've lived it or not, because we are all one source of light. Just shot out, having different experiences. That's why you can tap into the Akashic records and know anything and see everything, because that was you, just different aspects.
Can you tap into the Akashic records?
We all can. You know that?
I know that I theoretically can. I know that I may do it, but
that's where all our past life information comes from. The Akashic records.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't have a specialist in that yet, and I need to start looking for that, because we need that on the team, I think. And I like you as the empath, as the one, like, if we're going to see some aliens doing some work, and you're going to tell me why they're doing it, how they feel about doing it, how long they've been doing it, these type of things, right? That's the kind of information that I'm hoping to get from you. But you just put the bug in my ear that I need to be looking for an Akashic record reader that could be reading the records to go with what you're telling me about, right? Hey, look, tell me it from the Akashic perspective. You know what I mean?
That's where I get most of my information from. That's where Tatiana gets all the stuff she tells me.
Oh, okay.
Pulls from the Akashic records.
Okay, well,
give me 1 second. I've got to go to the temple real quick.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna get a drink, and then we'll get to work. Okay. Now, I don't have a ton of questions for Easter Island. I just know we need to go there. So maybe a long session, maybe short. I don't know. We may see things that just lead us from place to place to place. We may end up getting bored and going to Antarctica, for that matter. Or maybe I'll take you to Grand Canyon to see if you see anything different. That'd probably be a smart thing to do.
No telling.
Okay.
I'd always go in with zero expectations.
I think it's the way to do it. You know, for this, sometimes I like to have expectations because I'm the guide. You know what I mean? And so I feel like I should be taking us somewhere on purpose, but that's fine. I can wing it pretty good too, right? We'll do the guided meditation again. It's slightly different these days because you know things change. And then plus you've already had the full version of it, so I can do a slightly shortened version. The induction's a little different these days too, but that's because it's designed for what we're going to do.
Yeah, I go in pretty quick. My problem doing it myself is I fall asleep.
That's the exact problem that Patrick had. It was the same thing about this. I can get like one question or two questions done, and I'm out.
Yeah.
I
That's how I meditate myself to sleep at night.
I have a feeling I'm going to need you to move the camera down just a little bit so I can see you.
Yeah, I'm going to move it over here beside me.
Okay. Sound is great, though, by the way. What are you burning? What flavor?
Sage.
Oh, okay. Smart. Very smart.
I got my dog out.
You ever going to make me a wand?
Yes.
All right. And whenever we do these types of trips, I usually like to start off as kind of in modern day, maybe like just one day back, you know, like we'll say yesterday or a week ago, something like that. So we traveled in time a little bit, but mostly we're kind of in the same spot. We'll use this as our point of reference. I call it the waypoint, so that we can go places and come back to this original spot that we first showed up at, the original waypoint, and then we can go to another place and come back to this original waypoint. And what will happen is every time you go back to that original waypoint, you're going to have realizations and see things that you didn't see the first time. Right now that you've got that better point of reference. Where's all your cats?
Wow. Here's little Nugget.
Oh, he seems a little uptight. Chill out, dude.
This is Aries.
Go ahead and step inside and have a look. Are they smooth? Are they rough?
Smooth.
Okay. So almost like granite you might have on a countertop or something like that. Like this cave was carved on purpose, not like it's all completely natural.
It's like it's smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Real smooth.
What color?
It's brown, red,
Okay.
white.
Yeah. How high do you think the ceiling is?
It's really high.
Really high? Okay. And how far back does the cave go?
I can't tell.
Okay. Seem like there's more than one way in and one way out, or is it just the mouth of the cave is the only way to get in or out?
From where I'm at.
We'll continue our journey in a moment, but for now, I just want to explore the cave just a little deeper. So go ahead and just go deeper back into the back of the cave. Knowing that you're safe, protected, we can pull you out of there at any time. And just see how far back it goes and what else you're noticing. Is this seeming like a place you've been before?
Yes.
Okay. And is there anybody else in the cave with you or observing you?
There's lots of energy.
Mm-hmm. Energy coming from the center, from the walls, where?
There is. Okay. So. Okay. So this is a cave,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like a building inside. But except for the top, the top is still a cave.
Right. So it's like square, but the top is rounded?
It's so we've come in and built inside
Mm-hmm.
of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a city.
Like an underground city?
That's how it looks.
Okay. Let's go farther back and see what else you see and feel. Are there buildings inside or rooms carved out or?
Lots of rooms.
Okay. And how many beings do you think live here or lived here?
A lot.
A lot?
It's a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm. What type of energy? How does it feel to you? What emotions does it bring forth? Is it a good vibe or a bad vibe?
They're busy. Busy energy.
It's what energy?
Busy energy.
Okay. Okay. We seeing some beings now? What's all the hustle and bustle coming from? Go find out. Where's the activity? Currently, we're going to say that you are invisible and undetectable to anything, but you can see, feel, and sense everything that is around you. You're still feeling that energy?
I can. I think he's trying to talk to me. Hold on.
Okay. Take a moment, relax, engage your knowing and allowing.
This is a little guy,
Mm-hmm.
reptile-like,
Mm-hmm.
about 3 or 4 foot tall,
Mm-hmm.
and
Their tail?
no.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so we're building this cave, and they're help. I guess they. Hold on. He says they're managers, I guess.
What do you look like?
I'm sorry.
What do you look like?
Oh.
Look at your feet first.
I look like Katiana.
Okay.
My hair is different.
Mm-hmm.
And she's taller.
Okay. But they look like your real self in a way.
Yes.
Okay. Are we on Earth?
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
are we deep in the ground or are we near the surface?
Well, started at an entrance point, and we're going down,
Mhm.
and this goes really, really down far.
Mhm.
Um,
And you say the lizard beings are supervising the work, is that right? The little guys?
yes, they're very, very smart.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
It's intense. Um,
Do
very,
they
very
have a
smart.
name?
No.
Okay. How many of them are there?
There's 3 here.
Uh-huh.
Mm,
And they're all supervising, right?
yes.
Who's doing the work?
Everyone. Uh,
What do they look like?
go further.
I mean, are they bigger lizards? Are they cat people? What are they?
Okay, so he's
Is he trying to tell you something?
he's guiding and kind of like following him.
Oh, okay. So she's kind of showing you around the kind of how deep it goes and what sort of a
Yeah,
complex it is.
yeah, he's got like this little tablet
Uh-huh.
thing.
Mhm.
I can't tell what it is, but he's just like a little box.
Mhm.
He's not letting me see
A
exactly what it is.
lot of times these beings, they get a little touchy about their technology and their artifacts, we've noticed. Would you say it's made out of stone or wood or plastic or something? I mean, what do you think it's made out of?
Uh,
Does it look heavy or light? It's made of crystal.
kind of like a white quartz.
Okay.
Everything's granite is
Mhm.
amazing. I guess
How are they cutting this granite? Granite's very hard material. How do they shape it and cut it?
they're working with Gaia. Gaia.
Mm-hmm.
So
So this is something that Gaia wants to be done.
yes,
Mhm.
this I feel like this leads to the heart.
Mm. We're going to go all the way down and explore that for sure, because that sounds like a lot of fun. Um, on the way down, can you tell me these lizard creatures, are they native to the planet or not native?
Yes,
Native?
yes,
Okay. Would you say that they are still here on this planet somewhere in today's day and age?
yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. And the time that you're in right now, are you back in time? Or are you in today's day and age also? Where are you time-wise?
He says this is before time.
Mm.
There's no time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you ask him what is that little tablet he's carrying? What's it for?
It's his connection with Gaia.
Okay. So she kind of gives instructions of how she wants the cave to be and shows them on this tablet.
I get the sense that everything's just telepathic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These
So
beings are of Gaia.
mhm, that makes sense.
These are her children. She says
Mhm.
these are her children.
Okay. Very neat. What's the vibe you get off of these lizard guys, anyways? By the way, are they like happy, or are they just busy, or are they like little ants or worker bees, or what?
Um, very loving, but
Mm,
very intense. They're
Focus on their mission.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Do
have
they go ahead?
strong sense of duty.
All right. And I like that. That's a very good description. Do they know what they're building and why? What's the point of what they're doing? I mean, Gaia wants this underground city for a reason, right? It's a lot of work involved. Not for no reason. Is it a way to manipulate energy? Is it to create a safe place for the lizards to live? Is it for somebody else that will come later?
This is inner Earth.
Is this Agartha?
Agartha, Shambhala,
Oh, okay.
Eden. There's lots of names.
Okay. And so are there creatures on the surface that are going to be moving down into this area that they're preparing now?
They're preparing to go up.
Oh, okay. Right, because this tunnel goes all the way to the surface, huh? If we were going the other direction.
So let's see if I can describe this.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is stone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come out of like a passageway,
Mm-hmm.
and there's kind of like a wraparound porch
Mm-hmm.
all around this one side. It's like a walkway, I guess.
There's like a rail with it also?
Yes, it reminds me of like a porch, that has like a
You can
lattice.
look down or you could look up.
Both. There's okay, so it's huge. I can't even begin.
Like this is like the center of the earth almost, or something like that. The big opening.
Yeah, this is the main city.
Okay. What's the light source, or is there one?
So there's a sun.
Mm-hmm. Is the sun up in the air? Is it in the middle? Is everything around it or below it?
It's in the middle. It's like this huge orb of light, but it's like it has this curtain around it.
Right. Like a field that holds it in place.
Yeah, it's kind of like a black word.
Is there any heat or warmth coming off of it? Is there any sounds, smells that we can talk about? Just talking about the sun right now.
It's like a black mesh cloth protecting it.
What color do you think the sun is underneath the mesh?
It's like a black sun, like you see the eclipse, with the light blaring behind. That's how it looks.
You feel like this mesh is protecting the beings from something? Just making it so it's not too light in there? I mean, because if you're used to living underground, you're not used to having a lot of light, right? So maybe a sun would be a very big distraction.
It's really bright.
Okay.
I feel like it's more to protect her.
Protect who? Gaia?
The sun.
Oh, is the sun Gaia? Can you touch it? Does that seem safe?
Yes, it is. It's like pure energy.
Mm-hmm. So no personality associated with it, no emotions.
Just love.
Just love? Okay. That's nice. So the beings that live in this city are bathed in constant love all the time? Comes
Yes.
from the sun? Wow, that sounds really cool. How's it feel to be in a place like that?
It's just like,
Like, is this something, does it seem like something you could get used to?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
really peaceful.
And you said there's a city down below you, is that right?
Yes.
It's a pretty big city? Are there buildings that come out of the ground, like like New York or something? Or is it holes in the ground?
Yeah, it's massive.
Is there foliage, plants, animals, anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the so like maybe like there's like a city and then there's some parks around it, I guess is what I'm hearing.
So what I'm seeing is like this huge space, and there's openings all along around the city,
Mhm.
and you can, and it's like it looks like what we see outside.
Okay. Just normal plants, and they all look like plants that you would that seem normal to you also, ones that you could see up here on the surface? Or are they
Yeah,
different kinds of plants?
they're different. Some are
Okay.
different. Um,
See any animals? Any dinosaurs? Any animals just roaming the countryside?
yeah, there's lots of them, lots
Mhm.
of birds.
Mhm. The birds are tweeting and chirping. Are there trees?
They're alive.
What's alive?
The trees.
Okay. Are they regular sized trees? Are they bigger, smaller?
Oh, they're huge.
Huge. Okay. Seem
Oh,
really old.
they can get up and move.
What? So the tree could just like walk to another spot if it wasn't getting enough sunlight or if it wanted more water or just wanted a different view.
Yeah, I was trying to focus on this bird,
Mm-hmm.
and it landed on the
Mhm.
tree, and I thought, well, that tree's cool looking because it has a face.
Oh.
And so I go in on the tree,
There's
and it did this. Got
like
up and
three
moved.
birds. Oh my goodness. Can we talk to the tree? Say hi there, tree. How you doing? You want to talk to us?
Hmm. He says they're pesky.
Oh, he thinks you're a pest?
No, the bird.
Oh. So that's why the trees move, is they can get away from birds?
Just that bird.
How how come he doesn't like that bird?
They interrupt their nap.
Oh, well, we're sorry if we're interrupting your nap, by the way.
He's really old.
Mm. Does he make the air that everybody breathes down here?
He says they all do.
Okay, that's really cool. Is there anything neat that he would like to tell us about this place? Anything interesting that we should learn while we're here from a tree's perspective? What's he teaching us?
When they started, they were huge.
Mm-hmm.
We were all huge. Everything was huge.
Mm-hmm.
So originally they were the same way as they are here,
Mm-hmm.
up top.
Okay. Are some of them still up top now?
So they were all connected at first.
Mhm.
They okay. So it's hard to explain. Alice is huge trees, but the trees are infused with the land. It's like they don't. There's no separation.
Right, because they've got a group mind.
Yeah, it's hard to explain the look of it. It's
Mhm.
one.
Okay.
There
It's all connected through the dirt and the ground.
and their roots.
Mhm.
It's like holding hands, and
Mhm.
it can connect it all the way around.
Mhm. So one tree could say something on one side of the planet, and a tree on the other side of the planet would hear it.
Yes,
Okay.
everything,
The animals, the
grass,
grasses.
animals, everything.
Mhm. So kind of like the way the new Earth is going to be.
Yeah.
But this is the old Earth, right? Or is this new Earth?
This is. Oh. So it says this is the beginning and the end.
Mhm.
What has been will be.
Why would there ever be an end?
Okay, so end isn't what it's not like
Mhm.
nothing end. It's
Right. Just a transition.
cycle.
Right. So the way it starts is the same as the way it ends.
Right.
So it goes
So
out from there and it comes back around.
we started
Mhm.
at this point in this dimension where everything
Mhm.
was everything.
Mhm.
I literally can feel no separation between me and anything I'm seeing. It's really
Mhm. But as time went by, the separation starts to happen, and then it gets more and more and more until eventually it starts to get less and less and less and goes back around. Like
right.
maybe in a 25,000 year cycle, like the galactic year, or something like that. Like seasons in the galactic year. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, it's energy. As the energy, Gaia's energy changes,
It's an ebb and flow.
our perception changes.
So right now, where we feel like we are not connected, is that kind of like the farthest point of the cycle before it starts to head back around?
Okay, so what he's showing me is we're kind of coming back into so we've kind of hit the bottom and now we're coming back. Dimensions, fourth. And as we get further and further, you know, we'll start perceiving.
We'll be able to hear the trees and the animals again.
Yes.
Okay. And from the perspective of these tree beings, is the earth going to split? Like there are going to be two versions of the earth?
No.
Okay. And these tree beings, when they were up top at one time, and then they got up and they walked down into the center, is that right? Or is it just that the ones that were up top died?
They went from the center to the top. And so as the energy changes, they become more dense.
Oh, they can't walk around anymore.
Right, so they become more anchored.
Why do they do that? Does that help the planet in some way, or is it just how it is?
Yeah, anchoring in that particular density.
Can they still communicate when they're all anchored down like that? Can they still talk to each other?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Even if they're different kinds of trees, like a fir and an oak could still talk to each other?
Yeah, we just can't perceive it.
Okay.
Well, some
can the animals tell?
Yeah.
So the animals, like if you were a deer living in the forest, you would hear the trees talking to each other?
Absolutely.
How would a hunter ever sneak up on you?
With the free will.
Okay. So it's not up to the trees to bust roll a hunter if that's what the hunter wants to do. If the hunter wants to hunt, then so be it. But,
right.
Okay.
Their purpose. It's not their purpose.
Right. What is the purpose of their communication? Like, is that have something to do with maybe like a fire coming or something, or they just talk to give them something to do? Imagine the consciousness of a tree happens much slower because they grow slow and they live so long. So like the way they perceive things is probably a lot slower also. Like the pace of life for a tree is probably really, really chill. Oh.
Yeah. They're very calm.
Right. They're never in a hurry for anything to happen. And they're just kind of watching and observing, I guess, is most of what they do. How do the trees feel about pollution?
It won't be very much longer.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
I've got to go to the bathroom.
Okay. Go ahead. Just take your time. You're gonna stay in your trance though, so don't move too fast. All right, you ready? Feel good? Okay. So I'm going to count from 3 down to 1. I'm going to push right back down in the center of the earth in Agartha. We have been exploring the top side a little bit. We're going to go back down underneath. And 3, 2, 1. Be there now. I want to talk about the buildings that people live in. What do they look like?
Everything looks like granite.
Okay. Okay. Does a granite have its own intelligence? Do they just ask it to make a shape and it does it, or is it just part of Gaia? What do you feel about the granite?
So what I'm seeing is he's showing me like a hand going like this, and everything just kind of smooth out of the way. It's
Wow. Who's showing you that? Is that the little lizard guy?
yeah.
Okay. Does he have a name, by the way?
I just said that, and he's like, no, no. It's like reminds me of Mr. Miyagi, and he laughed. I don't even know if he knows what a Mr. Miyagi is.
Because he can read your mind. That's why.
Possibly.
Yeah, yeah. He gets it from you.
Smart. You know, that's kind of like the vibe I get. He's really, really smart, like a Yoda.
Wow, that's cool. Can you ask him, why were we originally brought here today? What were we meant to learn? What is important about this place to us?
We all started. So we've all lived here together.
So everybody that lives on the surface has lived down below at one time?
Okay, so he's slow down.
Mhm. Gauge your knowing, use your empathy, and just understand.
All these races that he is allowing me to see
Mhm.
are here now
Yep.
in some form.
Mhm.
Um, some are physically here, and they're able to manipulate our perception, not so they don't look different
Mhm.
in how they look,
Mhm.
but we see them
Like a hologram almost.
like we look.
Okay.
Um,
Like the Men in Black movie.
yeah,
Mhm.
Tatiana's laughing.
Hi Tatiana, how you doing?
She just showed me that scene where they're in that office thing, and then you got all these people walking through there. She said it's not like that.
Oh, she does not like that? Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, like where they got all the yeah, I know what you're talking about. They're in like the main base and there's all these different races walking around.
Yeah, they come out of this big elevator and they're looking out over everything.
Yeah, yeah. But it's not like that.
Aliens lined
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. But there are a lot of races down here in Agartha, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of them are aliens, or are they all kind of what Guy would consider natural to her?
Most of us are alien.
Okay.
She's the reptilian races I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
are here. They're
Okay.
um, the small ones.
Mm-hmm. Are they related to any of the other kind of reptilian beings that are on Earth now?
He said no.
No. Okay.
Gaia made these small ones.
Yeah.
But okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing me a lady, but I'm getting goddess energy.
Mm-hmm.
And
That are
he's the,
from Gaia. Go ahead.
he's the hand.
Mm-hmm.
So so he says he's been with all the stars, all the different civilizations.
Mm-hmm. Oh, even on different planets, or just
No,
all the civilizations on Earth?
here.
Okay.
So I'm seeing like
And he's always been out there walking around amongst them, and they never knew that he was like a lizard.
he says that in the past they were all just who they were.
Oh, okay.
It's only recently that everything's been hidden.
Can you tell us about the time of the dinosaurs? How long did that time last? And what ended it?
I feel really stupid.
Just say it.
Okay, so what I'm seeing, I'm being told that they're giants, but they weren't giants then.
Everything was that size.
It was normal.
Mm-hmm.
The people they were with, so dinosaurs weren't.
So the people were around at the same time as the dinosaurs, but they were just as big as they were?
Yes.
Wow, why don't we ever know that? Why don't we know that? So there was giant people around at the same time there was dinosaurs on the planet.
So okay, what I'm seeing is like they're showing me like everything just kind of shrinking,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like not really changing a whole lot, but just kind of getting smaller.
Oh, so to the point where like a T-Rex turns into a chicken, basically.
No,
Well, because they say they're related, you know?
they're not related. Oh my
Okay.
God.
Can you see a T-Rex? Tell me what it looks like. They got feathers, they got scales, they got fur.
No T-Rex.
No T-Rex, all right.
Um,
What about like one of those big long neck dinosaurs with the long tail? Can you see one of them?
I see the mammoths
Mammoth, okay.
showing me the birds.
Mm-hmm.
I guess pterodactyl bird,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not. They're not like scaly,
Mm-hmm.
like mammals, like
Yeah, these are
birds.
mammals. You're after the dinosaurs, I think.
So no, these.
But this is
Oh,
when there was giants. And these guys aren't like the huge giants. This is like 8-footers and 9-footers, I'm guessing.
okay, so what I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
looks normal, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
but being told everything is much larger.
Okay. Right, because you can't tell because the plants are bigger, everything's bigger, so it all just looks the same size, right? Because the scale is the same.
Right.
Mhm.
But I keep going big. I keep getting bigger and smaller. It's like they're trying to let me know that, you know,
That's part of the cycle.
this is my perception, you know, to let me know that this is the difference, but they're
Mhm.
not leaving me
So it's not like a
my
big
size,
extension
not
where
leaving my
everything
size
leaves.
now, but they're bringing me down to my size to show me the difference
Mhm.
between then and now.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, how much difference is it?
Oh my God. I'd say he's 15, 20 foot,
Okay. Okay, that's really cool.
this guy.
Okay. Let's ask Mr. Miyagi. One of my big things is I would like to get some physical evidence. Is there anything that he could point me to that would be near my house in Southern California that I could go find that would like wake a lot of people up and help us to know things about history that we don't know now? No, it's a hard question. Like, could I find a giant skull somewhere close to me? Maybe a full skeleton?
So saying the sleeping giants will rise. I don't know what that means.
Okay. So they're going to come back. So, because there's giants that are in stasis right now. Isn't that what it is?
Okay, so he's showing me the snake mound.
Showing you what?
The snake mound?
Yes, yes, yes.
Where's that in? Is that in Ohio?
I know where that is. That's in Ohio, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
that by
so
you? It's the Serpent Mound, is what it's called.
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Showing me that, but I'm up high.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing me the serpent mound,
Mm-hmm.
and he says there's more,
Mm-hmm.
but they're hidden.
Mm. They just look like regular hills to us, huh?
Are they gonna rise? Dude, he's showing me all these mounds.
Is there skeletons in them?
No, they're not. They're asleep.
Oh, they're living inside the mound?
Yes.
How come the government has never dug them up or anything?
They know. They know. They know.
Who knows?
The government knows. Oh,
Why don't they mess with them then? Why did they just leave them there?
yeah. They're protected.
Oh, they can't get to them, huh? The last ones we found were like 900 feet under the ground, and nobody could get there because of that. These ones you're talking about are like right up on the surface with just some dirt over the top, huh?
Okay, so I'm gonna assume this one is in the UK somewhere because he's showing me um
Stonehenge?
yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's huge, huge mountain.
Uh-huh.
But it's a mound. It's not a mountain, it's a mound.
Okay.
And
Is there giants inside or is the whole thing a giant?
they're way underground.
Okay.
So
What do they look like? Some of these we've seen that are very deep are part human and part animal. That's what I want you to tell me. Or do they look more humanoid, or are they a mix? They got 2 heads, 1 eyeball, what? In the UK, under the hill, what does it look like?
so he wouldn't let me see how we got there.
That's fine. That's fine.
So there's a way. This mound is just a mound, but there's a way. It looks kind of like a portal,
Mm-hmm.
literally like a portal, and they just kind of walk through the mound,
Interesting.
and there's huge space.
What's in there?
And these have red hair.
How many fingers?
6.
Mm-hmm. How many teeth?
They're normal.
Okay. And how many giants are in there?
I don't know. They're showing me like this mirror effect, like where you see one and then it just duplicates and just goes.
Goes and goes and goes.
Showing me like a big blur.
Holy crap. Okay. And they're just in stasis. They're still alive right now.
Very much alive.
Oh my goodness. Do they like get up and walk around and stuff? Or are they all sleeping?
They're sleeping.
Okay. What are they waiting for?
The density change. I kind of feel like.
Did you say density change?
Yeah, it feels kind of like a pocket dimension or something like.
Okay.
Like this is just their own space.
Right. Right. But they're waiting for something for sure. They're like riding out the density that we're in now.
Right.
Like nobody killed them or anything like that. They just said, you know what? We're just going to go chill for a while. And they just went and did this on purpose, right?
Yes, a lot of them.
Okay. Can you verify if this is in England? Is it Ireland, Scotland, Greenland?
UK, that's all this one.
UK? All right, that's fine. That's all we want to know. And are there pockets like this around the world in other places, or is this like the spot where all the red-haired giants are?
That's where all of, I think.
Okay, that's the spot. Or that's the entrance anyways.
He says that, okay.
So Mr. Miyagi's still with you and still showing you around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that guy. Thank you so much, Mr. Miyagi.
It's really intense and he goes really fast.
You can speed yourself up too.
I'm not
Okay,
good with it. So, and he's just throwing all these images at me and he's having to come back and like emotionally give me what I need. So if he would just slow down. Okay, so what I'm getting is that all these places with these mounds, they're like gateways.
Okay, so
I don't think they're actually physically there.
Right. So if I was to go dig up the dirt, I wouldn't find anything there. But if I could find the portal, and figure out how to turn it on and walk through it, the mound is basically just telling me where the portal is at.
Right. That's
Wow.
what he showed me. Whenever you said that, whenever you said going and digging around, he showed me. I saw you fall through a hole.
Okay.
So don't
Okay.
do that.
Don't do that. All right. Yeah. We don't want to lose our hero that way, right?
But they're different.
Okay. So there's different breeds and styles of giants in different mounds in different countries, or are they all red hairs?
No, they're all different.
Okay. All different heights too.
Yeah.
Okay. Any of these gateways go to other planets, or are they all basically just only a different dimension?
So these particular portals are just for them.
Okay.
I don't think we could enter these if we wanted to.
So our
Like
frequency isn't right, or our genetics aren't right.
until it's it's time. Like
Right.
they wouldn't be safe.
Right.
Um,
Right. We would just fall right through. We wouldn't go to the right place.
no, them.
Oh. Right. Yeah. So they wouldn't want us to come and find them. I get that. I don't want to find anybody that doesn't want to be found, that isn't ready to be found. But ask Mr. Miyagi this. Is there somebody that I can find that has passed on that is not living anymore? Like a skeleton that wouldn't mind us finding them? Like, I don't want to interrupt what these other guys are doing, but if there's somebody that I wouldn't be interrupting that would like to be found, that's who I want to find. And if they could be in Southern California, that would be really nice.
Okay, I don't know what this means,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna
Talk
tell
to me.
you what he's showing me.
Mm-hmm.
So he's showing me looks like a riverbed,
Mm-hmm.
and I see the water moving out.
Mm. Receding.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So it's a dry riverbed now.
Okay, so
Sounds like SoCal.
as so when we're shifting,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm seeing like water displacement,
Mm-hmm.
like continents moving.
Right.
And when this happens, it's gonna move water from land and land to water. And
Mm-hmm.
what
We've been
I'm
hearing
getting
about
is
this.
that there's gonna be so much evidence that they're not gonna be able to come in and hide it.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Mr. Miyagi. That's great. Okay. What about the coastal towns in that event? What's going to happen to them? We've heard warnings that people shouldn't live in the high density populated coastal areas. I'm just wondering if what he's showing you has a tie into that.
I'm gonna assume these are New York islands.
Okay.
Oh wow. Shut up.
So like Manhattan Island, Staten Island, that's what you're talking about.
Yes, I'm getting that's gonna be affected. But I'm getting the feeling like it's gonna happen in a way that people like will know,
Okay.
to
Right, because what's going to happen is that Antarctica is going to melt, and that will bring the water level up, 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 and so it won't happen super, super fast. You'll see the water coming up. That's the way we've been told in the past.
He said no.
No, that's not it? Okay. But it's not a tidal wave, though, right?
No, he's showing me
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume it's the pole shift.
Oh,
Because what I'm seeing is kind of like this
okay.
land.
Mhm. There going to be earthquakes associated with this? Any like hurricanes or typhoons? Or is it much more mellow than that? Not so
So
violent.
there's underwater volcanoes.
Mm, okay.
I don't know where it's at.
That's the Pacific Rim.
But what I'm seeing, there's not a lot around. There's not a
It
lot around.
doesn't
Like
take that many of them.
right,
But and before you move forward, I just want to make sure I got this part nailed down. So when we start to see some underwater volcanoes going off, we can kind of take that as a sign as that things are really in motion. Is that right?
yeah. There's
These underwater volcanoes, are they going to form into new islands?
that's what oops,
Right? Isn't that how the islands get made?
that's what it's kind of what I'm seeing is
Mm-hmm.
it's like this big black bubble, but whenever I'm seeing it come up,
Yeah.
I'm seeing an island. It's weird.
Yeah. And that displaces a bunch of water too. So that's almost like another way that we could see water levels rise without so much the ice melting.
Right.
Hmm. And then that would mess up people that lived on islands that were low to the sea level.
But I'm seeing plates shifting, like
Hmm.
the continental plates moving
Hmm.
with Gaia.
Like
And
rapidly?
no, it's
Okay.
moving faster now
Right.
than
But it's the kind of thing that people can notice and just move away from. It's not like this violent thing that just happens at the snap of a finger.
those who are meant to experience this will experience it, and the ones that
Oh,
aren't will be let out.
okay. Okay.
Um,
So it's really nothing to worry about.
yes, some chose to experience that.
Right, right. That makes sense.
But a lot of people don't want to shift.
Hmm. What happens if you don't want to shift? You get swallowed up by a volcano?
Um, I'm getting, they just finished before.
Hmm. Okay. Any spaceships associated with this event? I've heard some about like some large ships that come and kind of take some of the people back to their home worlds for some repair, and then they come back to the Earth. You see anything like that at all, Vanessa?
Okay, so they're always here. We just
Right,
can't.
right. These are the big circular ones, right? Or are they disc shaped?
This is like a long, it looks like a
Oh, cigar?
big tube,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kind of like a bus, like a
Right.
long train car. It's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of this is like 4D and 5D. Once we'll start seeing
Mm-hmm.
because we'll be vibrating with that same frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if you chose that, you could.
But the way I heard it is that some people may need a little kind of a sort of like a soul repair type of thing. and or a recalibration really is what it would be. So let's say that you were from Lyra, and all these shakeups kind of mess you up a little bit. And so what would happen is you'd be taken back to your home world, be recalibrated, and then you could come back here. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not like this isn't for necessarily like bad guys or good guys. It's not any kind of a punishment or anything like that. It's just a form of healing in a way. I know it's so far off of what we were talking about. Maybe I shouldn't have changed the topic so much.
Okay, so karmic cycles are ending.
Mm-hmm.
We're clear. Getting rid of all that.
Mm-hmm. So people that are trapped are no longer going to be trapped inside the wheel of karma, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what
So,
karma is will no longer apply. It's not a factor anymore, right?
exactly.
Because everybody is now 5D and they don't do anything that creates karma. Technically, there could be karma, but it's just not going to be.
So I'm getting, okay, so the souls that are here and trapped,
Uh-huh.
So I guess light workers,
Uh-huh.
we're, inadvertently healing these energies. Because when the density changes, they can't continue to hold them in the low vibration state.
Mm-hmm. But you're not seeing the earth splitting in two. This is very interesting because that's normally the way it gets described to me. There's like the higher dimensional version and the lower dimensional version.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I see dimensions, kind of like timelines.
Right.
So
if you like this 3D world that we're in right now, that like a lot of us light workers don't feel comfortable here, we want a better way. But there's certain people that thrive in this, right? That like the hierarchy and the money and all these, and they are still going to have a place where they can stay and live like that if they want to, right?
That's their dimension.
Yeah, so that's the 3D.
They can't exist in the higher dimensions.
Right, so they won't be able to go forward.
Yeah. There's people that are in that energy that they don't have
high enough vibration.
They don't have upper chakras.
Oh.
Their chakras are different.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Okay.
I'm seeing, they're showing me just like lower chakras.
Interesting. That makes so much sense. They've got those kind of base impulses that kind of, I guess we call it reptile brain really, but okay, so they don't have the higher impulses.
Yes.
What?
That's exactly what it is. It's the reptile brain. There's no heart chakra.
Yeah.
It just kind of stops.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't mean any offense to Mr. Miyagi at all, by the way. That's just what we call it. Okay. Very interesting.
They're not reptiles.
Right, exactly. And yeah, I wanted to make that distinction, by the way. It's just what we call it, but our mistaken human words aren't always the best way to go with things. So that's why certain forces are trying so hard with chemtrails and blocking out the sun, and they're trying to slow down or prevent the shift. They don't want a mass awakening because when everybody goes, they don't have that food source to live off of.
Yes, exactly.
They don't have the fear and the anxiety that they thrive in.
Exactly. These lower dimension people that I see, they don't have the ability to create.
Right. They can't manifest.
Manifest.
Mm-hmm. Because manifesting happens in what chakra?
You go start from your heart.
Start the heart. And then maybe uses everything from there up, I guess.
Yeah, the whole shift starts in the heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And everything just kind of moves up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
This is why they always did that, like the predictive programming we see, where you see all these movies and TV shows and magazine covers with the Twin Towers getting blown up way before it ever happened. And it's because they needed us to manifest it because they can't do it.
Exactly.
It's almost like a form of magic, like they're casting a spell and they're using us to do the magic for them, our subconscious mind.
Exactly.
Because even if we don't know about it consciously, if something is in our subconscious, that's where the manifesting really happens anyways.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Super cool. Now, I want to get back to this, the plates shifting. Do you remember back in the day, we used to always see this map of the world where it was like one giant continent, like they called it Pangea? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so for instance, if you take South America and you look, it's got that divot on the right side, and that divot lines up just perfectly with Africa. You could put Africa, boom, and it would fit together like a big puzzle. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So at one point in time, there was one giant continent, and it broke up into the 7 continents because the tectonic plates were moving apart.
Yes.
So I guess what I'm hearing is that they're going to keep moving, and they're going to end up coming back together and making the supercontinent again? Or something similar to that? Maybe some of them will rejoin?
Interesting.
Why is the tectonic plates moving important to us? How is it going to change things? The volcanoes are going to go off. There's going to be new islands. And the continents are going to rejoin?
Okay, so what I'm seeing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not big on geography, so I'm just gonna have to kind of explain what he's showing me. You just have to figure out what continent we're talking about.
Okay.
So the piece with the U.S. and Canada, and then you see, the over here, but I kind of see like it's rising.
Mm-hmm. Atlantis coming back?
Okay, so I think this is right. I'm getting as it shifts, I see like islands coming up and moving out.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all really connected, but it looks like everything is. I can't really tell if there's going to be more land or.
Sounds like it's almost like half and half. Like we lose some of the coastal areas, but we gain some new islands in between. Like a whole chain of them, it sounds like you're saying.
Okay, so I'm seeing like this spot, and it looks like there's a whole bunch of little bitty islands, and like in the middle, like they come out like this, and then there's big land over here, and it's like I see this big island coming up in the middle of where all these little bitty ones
Right.
are.
So you're looking at the Pacific Ocean with the Pacific Rim, and probably right where Atlantis used to be, smack in the middle. Well, no, I guess Atlantis would have been in the Atlantic Ocean. Huh? That would make more sense. But still, the island's got to be Pacific Rim, and then you're getting a big island coming up in the middle, is what I'm hearing.
With Atlantis, everything was Atlantis.
Oh, okay. So Atlantis wasn't an island that disappeared.
It was like they're showing me like the whole, like all the everything.
Right.
Atlantis, and then
It was more like the people that
happened in stages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of the separation.
Mm-hmm. That's why they spread out, and that's why there was kind of survivors all around the world.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so they knew,
Right.
obviously, they knew in the end what was gonna, how it was gonna be.
So some were smart and just kind of hid out, kind of blended in. Others stayed and resisted and fought and probably died.
There were some that stayed to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're gonna lose a lot of mainland around, you know,
The edges.
I'm seeing like Florida, Arizona, California.
Arizona.
Not Arizona. No, it is Arizona.
Right, because sometimes you see where the maps where the U.S. is cut in half right down the middle because the Great Lakes like kind of drain down into the middle. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm seeing water in Arizona.
What in the world? Oh yeah, because Arizona isn't that high up in elevation. It's probably like it's sea level. So if you just let the water in, it's going to end up there. Like it's a big lake, basically.
Yeah, but there's not anybody there. I'm showing
Right.
it's like but yeah, there's gonna be water. Huh.
Yeah, I'm looking up the Arizona elevation. It looks like the lowest point in Arizona is about 70 feet above sea level, so that's pretty much sea level. There is one peak that goes up to 12,000 feet, though. Okay. Interesting. What do you see of the Great Lakes? How do they look? They look the same?
Yeah, it's just around California, New York, a little bit of Florida. But are there islands outside of Florida? Like off of Florida?
Yeah, some small ones. Like well, there's Cuba, Philippines. Isn't there Philippines right around there? Or Caribbean? I mean the Caribbean. Here, just a minute.
So I mean, I see Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and what I kind of see is like the tip that's furthest out, kind of going in, and in the process, some of these islands coming up.
Yeah, just a bunch of them.
So,
Bunch of islands. The Florida Keys, Merritt Island, Malacha, Amelia, Cayo Costa, Sanibel Island, Gasparilla Island, Marco Island, Everglades. Whole bunch.
so
Abaco Islands, Anguilla, Antigua, Aruba, Bahamas, Barbados, Bimini Islands, Dominican Republic, Florida Keys, Grand Bahamas, Guadalupe, Havana, Nassau, all kinds of islands there. So you're thinking the islands are going to get bigger, not disappear?
Yeah, that's what I see.
Okay. The islands come up and Florida goes down.
Bye, Shaniko.
Okay. Man, I think it's a pretty good session. Let's I want to bring Katiana forward for a moment and ask her a couple questions, and then we'll finish up here. Okay. Here, kitty. She there? She there? She ready to chit chat for a minute?
Yeah, she's been here.
Okay. First of all, Tatiana, how's the body doing of Vanessa right now? Is she doing okay? Can we talk a little longer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We noticed that it seems like your connection with Vanessa has been getting a lot clearer lately, especially over the last week or so. Can you tell us what has allowed that to happen?
The energy is different here.
Mm,
There's not as much negative energy.
okay. So it's about moving then and being just in a better environment?
Yes.
Okay. And you think that she'll be staying in this general area for a while then?
For now.
Okay. And she seems to enjoy talking with you more? She's not freaking her out or anything?
As I argue.
Okay. We wanted to ask, was Vanessa ever on Lemuria? She doesn't feel like she has a lot of connection to that area. We know she was on Atlantis, but was she at Lemuria?
No, we opted out of that one.
Okay, perfect. And the other thing we wanted to ask about Lemuria is kind of, we wanted to dial in the time frame of that. How long before Atlantis did Lemuria start and end? Millions of years, thousands of years?
Only a few thousand years.
2,000 years, okay. Thank you, I appreciate that. And we wanted to ask about why does Vanessa see me as like a lion person sometimes? We were guessing that meant that I was from Sirius, I guess, and ended up in Lyra at some point.
So you're a member of the guard.
Guard? Can you help the dog calm down a little bit? There we go. We're almost done. We're almost done.
Okay, so I see. I can see you.
I look like a lion?
Yeah, you do. Okay, so
Is this on Sirius or Lyra?
just Earth.
It's Earth? I was a lion on Earth? Oh, is that like, are you looking at me right now and just seeing a different aspect of me or something?
Yeah, I can see you.
Mm-hmm.
You're an ass.
I'm an ass?
Yeah, you are.
I'm trying to be.
You don't want to tell me anything.
Oh. Yeah, you know, it's very funny about that, Vanessa. It seems like for whatever reason, my galactic origins and my past and my future are all supposed to be secret. I've been having a very hard time finding that type of stuff out, and it seems like Anytime anybody does know, they get told not to tell me.
Okay, so shush.
Mm-hmm. Are you looking at like my higher self or something? Is that what's not talking to you?
It's you in this incarnation.
Mm-hmm.
But we were incarnated together. That's why
That was on Atlantis, though, wasn't it?
that's why you're fighting me. Hush, Nico.
I mean, obviously we're incarnated together right now, but I think you said that we were in Atlantis as well. Like I was a teacher of some kind at the time. You remember that? We were together as when you were keeping the crystal and you lived for like 2,000 years, and I was a teacher of some sort. Do you remember that?
Okay, so we're about to do this.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, wow, I'm getting a chill.
You're stubborn.
Mhm.
You can't block me out.
All right. You got my permission.
Okay, so okay, that makes sense. Show me. Okay, so we're in my crystal room. Okay.
Down below the earth? Or in Atlantis?
This is Atlantis.
Okay.
And you were my guard.
Mm-hmm. You're like
But
a priestess.
right. But it's not like a guard like we think of today.
Okay.
Every time I say guard, you keep looking at me like I don't fight. I'm not muscle. Like you're very adamant about that. Like you're insulted
All
by
right.
me even insinuating that you beat people up or and like you're very intense.
I'll just keep an eye out and tell you when stuff is coming.
So okay, I'm getting okay. So when I'm working,
Mm-hmm.
you stay with me
Mm-hmm.
so that nothing interferes with my energy.
Mm-hmm.
So you guard my energy field.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you protect my energy.
Okay. From what?
Just from interruption.
Okay.
Just so no one comes
Mm-hmm.
into that space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of people and that use this, like come to me for stuff. It has to do with my crystal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You kind of facilitate that. You are really intense.
I'm kind of intense now, really.
Okay, we're done. All right.
Blocking you again?
That's it.
How you feeling? Are you exhausted? That was kind of a long trip. A lot of information to take in, huh?
You don't even you don't even know what I saw. I mean, that's what. See, that's why Patrick gets so distracted, I think, because he can visualize and he gets so caught up in everything.
Yep.
And
Yep.
they're throwing images at me, and I'm like,
Yep.
okay. And I just kind of like throw it back, and I just get what I need from each little snippet.
Yeah.
And
So I can see you getting
as I start
overwhelmed.
to come out, it's like this really fast slideshow.
You're like, okay, wait a minute. Let me just see if I can make sense of this all. It's coming. Okay. I know something's going to come out in a minute that I can latch onto that's going to really make sense. Or once I see it all, I'll put it together and it'll make sense. Well, you need to just chill out for the rest of the day, I think, and just kind of absorb and process and integrate. I know how you are. You're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to tell me all these things. And you're going to say, oh, I remember when I told you this and I told you that. And I'm going to be like, you didn't tell me that.
Daniel! You were intense. Maybe that's why you're so chill now. Put Athena up and take these dogs out, please.
I'm intense in my own way. It's this weird kind of a juxtaposition type of thing, because in one way I'm super chill, but in another way, I mean, the most common advice I get from anybody that knows what you're talking about on a spiritual level is like, chill out, mellow out, slow down. Right? That's the number one advice I get all the time. And I'm like, I am chill. But
you were super, super intense. Like you had a guard vibe to you. Like you were fucking serious. Like you were not playing. Like this is what the hell. Like I don't know what the hell I was doing, but you made sure you were protecting me while I was doing it. So that was
like whatever you were doing. I thought it was super important. Huh? Quack! Genius at work.
What's that? It's rowdy. Open the. Oh shit. You gotta open the crate.
Is he using a sledgehammer?
That's what two German Shepherds and a
oh yeah, I've seen the pictures of the German Shepherds before too. I forgot that's what that was.
This is my sister's really fat man pen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hardly men anymore. That looks like a Max pen.
It's fat. Oh,
look at that. That's the way it is. So in Atlantis, did I look just like I look now, or did I look different?
That's what's so funny about it, is you kind of do. I guess because the beard and stuff, the cheeks and the eyes were the same.
Oh, how funny!
But of course, the eyes are the window to the soul. So
right. That's how we always have everybody recognize someone. Yeah.
But you were huge. I'd say at least 8 foot.
What? Oh, how cool is that? No wonder I'm into giants.
Get away from the laptop.
Well, was everybody that big back then? How tall were you?
I was about 6, 7 foot.
Oh, okay, so everybody was pretty big then.
I mean, our race was, but I guess Atlantis was kind of a melting pot too,
Right.
because we weren't hidden, and I was.
Oh, you're losing your internet. Let's give it a second, see if it comes back. I don't know if you, oh, there you are. There you are. You're saying Atlantis is a melting pot?
I guess. I mean, because I was.
Yeah, because if you come from off planet to Earth at that time, you would go to Atlantis first, that you would almost think for sure, right? I mean, that's what made it special and different than anywhere else.
But there wasn't. It was like everybody was everybody. Like when you pan around and just kind of look around you, you just see all kinds of different people.
I want you to
Great.
get on like Google Maps or something like that today and look at some maps of the Earth and the oceans and
Go away.
like America, and see if it brings anything back when you're looking at some of these maps. Okay.
Y'all have to, because I'm not good with geography.
Right, and so you can look at some of these maps and you'll say, oh, I saw that this was gone. Oh, I see. You know, you can see how big the puddle in Arizona was, or whatever. You know? And you can look at kind of the coasts of New York and California and just see how they look different. And of course, we've heard that going all the way up to Oregon and Washington, right, the two states that are right above California, that things are going to happen there too. In fact, they may have worse earthquakes in California, some people say. But you got all the Pacific Rim volcanoes that kind of go around the edge of that big ocean, and I bet you that's where you're going to look at the sides of the continents, and you're going to say, oh, there was islands all the way right here. You know? And so it'd just be interesting just to see what you get off of looking at some maps later on.
It was just kind of like seeing this volcano explode underwater, and then, like I said, they show me everything really fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you just like it exploded and it come up, and it's like when it come up, it just kind of moved everything around. I don't know if it's because of the water. I don't know how that works, but it was just, but it you know, I didn't get like some big cataclysm or you know,
Right.
some big natural disaster or anything like that. Like,
just changes.
I mean, this may happen after everybody shifted and, you know.
Well, and the other thing is this: the way you saw it is one thing, but it might
already happened. I don't know. This could have been something that happened in the past.
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is that what you're seeing, you see it in a matter of minutes, or even seconds, so you can describe it to me. But the reality is, it took 100 years. You know what I mean? Like an island doesn't just pop up like that, right? And so you were seeing something maybe it looked much more violent because you saw the whole thing all at once, as opposed to the amount of time that it actually took.
Right, and like I said, I don't know if this is something that's going to happen in the future, or if it was something that
was in the past. Okay.
It was in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't always make that clear.
Right, because for instance, you're seeing islands popping up off the coast of Florida, and there are a bunch of islands off the coast of Florida.
No, that was a shift thing.
Oh, that was future.
Yeah, that was.
What happens to Florida? Do you get more? It's like kind of underwater.
You see, that's what was weird about it. It's kind of like, because you know how far it goes out, and that's all I really know is what Florida looks like, because I have a keychain with a Florida thing on it. Only reason. But I kind of saw like around the edge of that kind of went under a little bit, like the water come up, like there was a gradual coastline moving up. And as this coastline moves up, it's because these islands are moving up.
Right, so they're displacing a bunch of water essentially, and they're making the water level go up because of that.
Right.
So, I haven't heard it that
So
way
it's
before.
not like a hurricane coming through and just destroying everything. Like
Right,
this
it's
water's
just
gradually going to start coming up, and people are going to be like, "Oh shit, you know,
we gotta get out of here." Yeah, yeah. Like one day, your living room is under a foot of water, and your ankles are wet, and you're like, "Okay, well, this just isn't going to work anymore." And if you stay any longer, it's going to be up to your knees.
I mean, my advice would be don't live near the ocean.
Right.
I don't care where you live at, as long as it's not near the ocean, because Gaia is shifting, the poles are shifting, everything's moving, and
Right.
it's only
if you knew nothing.
common sense to think that the water is going to be displaced somewhere.
Right. Right. And then if there's ever going to be, hurricanes or typhoons or tidal waves, all that happens to the people on the coast. It doesn't matter if it's in the Gulf of Mexico or if it's over by Africa. Right. All that water moving is going to hit coasts one way or another. So the farther inland you are, then now all you have to worry about is earthquakes. And if you can get yourself off. Oh, you know what we should have looked at? I always heard that like Idaho, like Yellowstone Park is a big giant caldera. It's like 100 volcanoes. I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, it'll go eventually.
That's up above Arizona too. So you almost wonder if something happened there that caused Arizona to get flooded out.
Be a lot of aquifers and stuff underneath that.
And you know what? I'm just thinking right now. I think Arizona used to be an ocean. Just a minute here. Let's go. Arizona marine fossils. Watch this. We're gonna find all these ocean living animals that are fossils in Arizona. I almost guarantee it. Brachiopods, gastropods. Was Arizona once an ocean? Most sauropods are present but rare in Arizona's late Triassic deposits into the Cretaceous. The uplift in western Arizona was forming mountains. Seawater once again intruded into the eastern part of the state. This sea was inhabited by marine reptiles such as turtles and plesiosaurs. How does that happen? It's the eastern parts. I wonder how it gets in there. Yeah, but definitely, yeah, eastern Arizona. Well, it looks like all Arizona was a sea at one time, and then half of it raised up. And
we'll see. There you go.
Here, just a minute. I'm going to show you something cool. Just a second. Let me do a quick share screen here. Bam. Okay, so look at these fossils. These are from Grand Canyon. Whoops. Look at that. Those all look like sea creatures, huh?
Yeah.
Right there. There's like a bunch of clams and stuff. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, this is from northern Arizona right there. So for sure, it used to be a sea. Oh, look at that. Those look like squids or something, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my.
That's for sure a sea creature. Look at those guys. Those are sea creatures all day. Interesting. Oh, what was the other thing? Oh, we were talking about the mounds. And that's like all the giants are there and they're still alive. They're just like sleeping. Do you remember that?
Yeah, they're in stasis. That's
and there was different kinds too.
It's like a pocket dimension.
Yeah, that's weird, man. Super cool. I can't wait to go back and listen to that part. And I'll just post all of this, whatever I want to post, because there's nothing personal on it at all. I don't think. But if you see anything you don't like, you can just always tell me to take it, edit it out. But One thing I like about these types of sessions is I don't have to edit them much at all. I just like chop a little bit off the beginning and a little bit off the end, and there you go, man.